But here's kind of how you know, I guess, you're attached to something is if it's gone, does it affect your attitude? Does it affect your morale, your spirits? How how would it affect you?
Welcome to the EQ Gangster podcast, where you will learn practical tools to grow your mental and emotional health and intelligence to be the best version of yourself, both at work and at home. It is real, raw, and transformational. The journey of emotional growth isn't easy, but it's worth it. I believe in you.
EQ gangsters. Hope you all are doing amazing. Hope you all had a wonderful Christmas. Hope you have a great New Year. So this episode is going to be on what we get attached to and why. What we get attached to and why, and identity, number of different kind of points to kind of bring up here. So I want to start off with things I'm thankful for. I'm thankful to be able to do a walk on a brisk evening. This is actually the day I'm recording this is Christmas Day. Very thankful for my faith, my relationship with the Lord. Thankful for the moon I'm looking at. I'm thankful for trees and grass and cattle and animals and pets and family and goals and dreams and love and conflict and emotions and homies. So a lot of things I'm thankful for. So, have spent some time these last couple months. We're doing a lot of coaching, spending time with various, different groups of people and stuff. And just interesting to find or figure out the things that people get attached to, including me, and maybe especially me, and sometimes you can find the things that we get attached to through the spots where we find tension and conflict and issues and tension. Those may be areas that we found ourselves having some sort of subtle or not so subtle attachment to or with. And then what are the corresponding consequences or benefits of said attachment? Let's start with some easy ones, some kind of fairly universal ones. Well, I say that, but there's always exceptions. Family. Some folks are blessed with some great families, some great families. Some of us did not have great families. Thankfully, very gratefully, I was one that I was very blessed to have wonderful parents, a wonderful sister. Even though my oldest sister was killed when she was 5 months old, I never got a chance to meet her. Still, we had a wonderful family. Obviously, there were definitely dysfunctions in our family, probably like every family, even the great families. But I was, again, thankful, great family with some dysfunction. And so, boom, that's an attachment. Another attachment is jujitsu. And this is a good example. I've been traveling a lot these last couple weeks, and it's been a couple weeks since I have done a jiu-jitsu class. So day after Christmas, I'm driving an hour and a half to a gym that said they have an open mat because I'm starting to Jones. And I can just feel, man, my mojo. Just 2 weeks is like my extreme limit of not having jits going on. So thankfully, I'm walking. I've been walking every day, which has been a huge blessing. But I don't know, jits is just a whole nother, it's a different level. So jits I'm attached to. Let's see. I'm attached to probably a little bit of, let's see, the EQ Gangster podcast. And even though, as a podcaster, you never know if occasionally you will find out that people are listening to your podcast, at least as a little guy, right? I'm not one of these big baller podcasters where there's thousands of comments and thousands of feedback and thousands of whatever discussions. I'm not on that scale or that size. So occasionally I'll find out that, hey, I listen to your podcast, but most of the time I have no idea. So, and a buddy of mine said, dude, why do you even do your podcast? Like just drop it, or just do one a month or once a quarter or something like that. And so it was good. It was, a fair comment. And it just made me think, okay, well, why do I do it? Why do I podcast? Why do I feel attached to podcasting? I've been doing it for 4 years. Well, part of it is my identity, I think, has been a little bit attached to showing myself that I could do it. Because 4 years ago, when I first started this, I was a couple years into my EQ journey, and prior to my EQ growth, I didn't have the guts, the confidence, the courage, the consistency, the character to do a podcast. And so even if nobody listens to my podcast, for me, it's been a way to demonstrate my consistency. And the funny thing is, I think I may have missed a day in here somewhere recently, but it's the first time in 4 years, which I will cut myself some slack and say I'm crazy proud of myself for having 4 years of Rolex consistency. And because my life prior to EQ growth, the only thing I was consistent at was being inconsistent. So I'm attached to my podcast, but I think that's why, even if nobody listens to it or very few people listen to it, like it's a way to demonstrate consistency. Also, it's a way to capture my lessons learned, my own growth journey, and the lessons that I'm learning. And then also it's kind of fun to look at other people, observe other people, and, see what other people are attached to. What do they hold on to? And it's funny because it's with little kids, you see it very, very clearly, very easily. When a little 3-year-old or a 5-year-old holds on to their little toy army guy, their toy ship, their little toy horse, and says, no, you can't play with my little army guy or my ship or whatever. It happens in adults too. Adults do it also. And so it just, watching, again, observing myself and others, and then like things. What things are we attached to, right? There's that whole minimalist movement that's been going strong for, probably a handful of years. The whole minimalist movement. What things are we attached to? Is it a hat? Is it a sweater? I wear this sweater from my awesome friend Rowena. It's the 82nd Airborne Division sweater, but it's super comfortable. So I always wear it. So I could say, man, I'm probably attached to the sweater. But here's kind of how I guess, you're attached to something is, if it's gone, does it affect your attitude? Does it affect your morale, your spirits? How would it affect you? So, and then it's also maybe a little bit attached to gratitude, is like, man, I don't want to be ungrateful for all that God has blessed me with. So while I don't know that I want to, be attached to stuff, because that doesn't sound good. Or at least, I just, the older I get, the less meaning, right? It's the whole Ecclesiastes, how King Solomon, the wisest dude who's ever lived, is like, everything is meaningless under the sun if it does not have to do with God. And I know that's an extreme verse. You got to look it up yourself to check it out. But, I want to be, if I'm going to be attached to something, I want it to have meaning. I want it to be, family, values, character, the Lord, God's word. I don't want to be attached to stupid stuff. I don't want to be attached to, myself. I want to, anyway, so just that whole concept of attachment. What are you attached to? Do a list. What are you attached to? And what would shift your attitude if you stop being attached to it? What would adjust your mindset, your attitude? And how can I get more attached to the Lord? How can I deepen my relationship with the Lord? So that's the thought. Attachment. And then what role do emotions play in that? Also, something to chew on as well.